It's an honor to give the President's Award to HP. The President's Award recognizes an organization that has championed policies, programs, and procedures to promote and advance women. There's a Bantu word that nicely sums up why HP won the award. The word is Ubuntu. One of the characteristics of Ubuntu is that your actions affirm others and allow them to emerge stronger than they were before. HP's external and internal actions to support women and minority lawyers are grounded in Ubuntu. HP's culture of reinvention includes internally facing initiatives, such as having the most diverse board of any tech company in America, as well as externally facing helpful initiatives. HP is a game changer in shaking up the legal status quo. In 2017, HP took a novel step and created a diversity mandate. All US-based firms working for HP with 10 or more attorneys must comply with the following requirements or face a diversity holdback of legal fees. One diverse firm relationship partner must regularly engage with HP on billing and staffing issues, or at least one woman and one racially, ethnically diverse attorney must perform or manage at least 10% of the billable hours related to HP's matters. Every diversity and inclusion professional rejoices when the business case for gender equality and diversity and inclusion is strengthened. There is a direct correlation between corporations' efforts to make the legal profession more inclusive and career progression of women, minority, and LGBT+ attorneys. As some of you may remember, and as Judge Wright alluded to, a year ago, standing on this stage, I urged you to use the tools at your disposal to work to increase the prospects of women and play a part to swell the inevitable tide that will rush in and propel women to gender equality. Thanks to HP for ingeniously using the tools at their disposal. The President's Award will be accepted by Cynthia Bright, Vice President and Associate General Counsel for U.S. Litigation and Government Investigations. Cynthia is no stranger to receiving presidential awards. As a wonderful exemplar of the HP spirit, the IP litigation team that Cynthia led was one of 6 teams to receive HP's Presidential Quality Award. Cynthia has been named one of the top women attorneys in tech, and please join me in giving her a huge applause.
Thank you. It's an incredible honor to be here. It's an incredible moment. I am already inspired. And now I'm not sure I'm so happy about having zippers on my sleeves. This is a great moment for HP and for those who work within global legal affairs. Many of you know HP, but let me take a minute to reintroduce you. We were founded in 1939 by Bill and Dave. We are the original garage story in Silicon Valley, and you can go see that garage on Addison Avenue in downtown Palo Alto. But we reinvented ourselves in 2015. It was the culmination of a long road that had begun in 2012 by our then CEO and now board chair, Meg Whitman. You see, in 2012, things weren't so rosy. Most of the press said we should be sold for scrap. Essentially, we were better off dead. But Meg didn't believe that, nor did Kathy Lesjak, our CFO. They sat down and met with business leaders and said, each one of you needs a plan to be profitable as a business. You have to put it on one sheet of paper, and they did. and that began what was a turnaround journey for the company. It culminated in announcing the world's largest corporate separation. We separated the Hewlett-Packard Company into Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, servers, storage, networking equipment, and the services around the data center for enterprises, and HP Inc. that focuses on personal systems, PCs and printers, and now is also working on additive manufacturing. At the time of separation, we became Fortune 48 and 49. It was an incredible 10 months, I think we took to operationalize that, sending 200,000 employees into Hewlett-Packard Enterprise and 50,000 employees into HP Inc. I now work at HP Inc. As part of that effort, we decided we were going to reinvent ourselves, reinvent our company, reinvent our culture as well. And so what we did in doing that was start with, who do we want to be? And that conversation started with Meg Whitman and Tracy Keogh, the head of HR. And they founded, as Leslie has noted, the most diverse board for a US tech company in corporate America. But we also continue the values that you know from HP. They were founded with Bill and Dave and often referred to as the HP way. We believe in teamwork, engagement, honesty, client service, and we believe in the power of people. We are relentless in our will to win. But sitting next to those and part of those is diversity and inclusion. Kim Rivera, our General Counsel, put it this way: diversity is a business and moral imperative. It is vital to innovation. The best solutions come from dialogue, from conflict, and debate, and diversity is an essential ingredient. To make this work takes intention. So what are we doing? You've heard about our board, but let me tell you about some other things that are happening at the CEO level and executive level. First, Dion Weisler, our CEO, has taken the PwC CEO Action for Diversity and Inclusion Pledge. The goal is to rally the business community to advance diversity and inclusion by partnering across organizations. Separately, our Chief Marketing Officer, Antonio Lucio, is bringing diversity and inclusion into marketing. He is looking and engaging directly with the agencies that we hire to take our brand message to the world, to make sure that we increase leadership roles for women and underrepresented minorities. In addition, he's joined the effort to Free the Bid, which is a direct call to increase the roles for female directors in creating advertising campaigns on behalf of companies. Let me also tell you about the work that we are doing in hiring. It's being led by our Chief Diversity Officer, Leslie Stanton Brown, and it's called Reinventing Mindsets. We are hiring at HP, and talent is our only criteria. And in bringing that message to the world, we've created 2 spots. The first is called Let's Be in Touch. It was released in April, and it focuses on the unconscious bias that African Americans often face when it comes to hiring. It's an incredibly powerful thing to watch. We followed that up with a second spot, which is called Dads and Daughters. And it's that moment of early career hiring that women face, and it goes through and has honest conversations between actual dads and actual daughters about some of the terrible advice that young women receive and are reflective of some of the unconscious bias that they face when it comes to hiring. The campaign has received call-outs from across the world, including in Forbes and CNET and other locations, and is really an exciting thing to watch happen. But now I want to also talk about some of the things that we're doing within global legal affairs. What are we doing around diversity and inclusion? First of all, we're doing things to work on what people, at least in Silicon Valley, refer to as the pipeline, which is recruiting people into the legal profession. Here we have roles in leadership in programs that are increasing the pipeline of diverse candidates and students who may be interested in work in careers in law. One of my colleagues, Christoph Mosby, has done this year in, year out in working in street law. We go into high schools and show up, first of all, and talk to them about what it's like to have a career in the law, and we also train them on things that they need to know about the law on an everyday basis. Secondly, we are also engaged in leadership and participate actively in external organizations. One of the recent examples I learned about that Kim Rivera, our General Counsel, participates in is Dinner Among Friends. It's a group of female general counsels who bring a female equity partner or leader to the dinner and then stands up and introduces that female lawyer and says why you would hire them. Can you imagine such a powerful endorsement? And that's scalable. That can be taken anywhere and done at any level of an organization. Here is why you would hire this person. And it works. Another organization that we've actively participated in is CHIPS, which advances the role of women in the law of IP, and that is a field where we face particular challenges. I have had the opportunity and honor of attending myself and also sending members of my team. Third, we're working on the engagement of outside counsel. And this is where we're looking for increased representation for those who represent us in the world in the courts. We've done it for years through the assessments that we do through our request for production when we select counsel. We've done it with direct engagement with law firms and just having open dialogues. What are you all doing around diversity? What are the best practices that you've seen? And those have been some of the most rewarding conversations of my career. We're also most recently doing it through the diversity holdback, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then finally, we're doing it through the inclusion and retention of the candidates and the employees that we have within the department. When we became HP Inc., we noted that 55% of those who work in the functions of the company are women, and we increased our representation of women executives by 4%. We may not be perfect, but we're working on it, and we are continuing to work hard at it with intention every day. So the diversity holdback, you heard a little bit about it from Leslie. It allows us on a voluntary basis with those firms who have opted into the program to withhold up to 10% of the fees billed until the end of our current RFP period if they fail to meet those minimal diversity staffing requirements. And again, that is a diverse relationship partner or a woman attorney and an ethnically or racially diverse attorney, each of whom are billing at least 10% on the matter. It's for those firms with 10 attorneys or more. We are beginning this as a pilot now. We will roll it out to even more firms by the end of our fiscal year 17, which ends on October 31st, and then we'll be fully operational next year in FY18. We'll measure this using the diversity tools from the ABA, which is an exciting initiative to have that data be able to be shareable across different organizations. So there isn't just the HP data or the Mass Mutual data or the Walmart data. There's universal data that we can all look at. It's an exciting initiative. Finally, I wanted to go back and talk a little bit about reinventing our culture and talking about how we operationalize this, both through programs but through direct engagement. It's given me the courage to go and work with our law firms that aren't quite there and have direct conversations. I recall 18 months ago looking at a bill and realized that I did not have a diverse team working for me. And I called the relationship partner and said, this isn't okay. It isn't okay for you, and it's not okay for me. And while we're not going to be able to change it overnight because we're in the midst of a war, we are not going to stand still. And I called that partner back 6 months later and said, okay, what have you done? In addition, because that matter then quickly settled. What have you done? And he said, I knew I wouldn't get any more business, but let me tell you what we've done. We've hired an equity partner in this location, and I can't wait to introduce you to her. And then we've done 2 or 3 other things. These conversations, these programs matter. They change the profession. And then I also wanted to talk about our values and what we're doing as we reinvent culture. And Kim laid it out as a journey map. It's not a static thing, it's a progression, it's a dialogue, and it's a place that we're going. And one of the ones that she added, on top of all the other wonderful values that HP embodies, represents, and brings into the world of business, is that we care about each other. What does that look like in action? Well, I had a female team member who reports to me. In fact, I had the opportunity to hire her. And I realized I didn't know why, but I knew it was time to lean into what Sheryl Sandberg had laid out as a challenge for us, that we can talk about the things that matter to us in the workplace setting and not just wind up in HR. And so I said, I have the feeling that family is important to you. Do you want to hear my story? Because one of the things I talk about in connection with my resume is that I'm also a mom. And right now I'm in a transition. I've just come through the hardest phase into the sweet phase where my kids are 7 and 9. And I said, do you want to know my story? Because I lost a pregnancy. And I know what that's like. And I have a journey to get from where I was to where I am now as a mother of 2 kids. And if you ever want to know how that happened or what it was like, I will tell you. And I'd be happy to tell you. And that's all you need right now. But it's an open invitation at any time to come and know that I will talk to you about that. I'll tell you about it, what it's like, what was easy, what was hard. And I also want you to know that you will have time to do whatever it is that you need to do. Whether it's go to a doctor's appointment or take time off, we will make it work. I think that's leaning in towards we care about each other. All the work got done. Didn't matter if it got done at 4 a.m. or 4 p.m., it got done. And yet, her goals for her life could happen too. She since had a wonderful baby boy. He's 6.5 months old. And I leaned in again when she was in about the end of her 2nd trimester of pregnancy and said, I want you to know something. Coming back to work is really hard. You work incredibly hard. I know what hours you put in. Don't be surprised when it feels different when you come back. I know that. I hit that speed bump, and I made it through, and when you feel that way, please know that you are not alone. You want to know anything more about it? You let me know, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it. And she never asked. She's as flawless today as she was before. She never misses a beat. I don't know how she does it, but I do know she knows that she's not alone. And I told her, and I've expressly told her, I'm in this for the long run. I think that's what it means to lean in, care about our employees. We can have discussions about their lives. We have more technology than ever before to be able to work whenever, wherever, and do the best work. And it's one of the things that I think back about diversity and inclusion and being real and helping each other that I'm the most proud of. So I want to thank you again for this honor. I love the company that I work for. I am proud to represent it. I am humbled and honored to be here. I hope you feel affirmed. I hope you feel inspired. And I hope you leave this place even stronger than you were when you walked in the door. Be ready to help us reinvent the culture of our profession as well. Thank you.